John B. Lonnie, good morning. Elisha, good morning, everyone. Good morning, all. Rouge, we have you here as well. Welcome back. The one and only PDRE. Always good to see you here. I want to learn and become a part of this community. Well, you're in the right place, Ricardo. You are already a part of this community, so you get all the good stuff that come along with it. And that includes dealing with the one and only handsome John Johnson.
I appreciate it, Bob. I'm feeling myself today. I feel amazing. I feel great. I feel great.
How was your weekend?
Oh,
What did you end up doing?
fantastic. This weekend, I just really kind of focused on eating, and because the gym was closed yesterday, so I didn't really do too much there. But you know, it's just sometimes life just gets really good, and it's like you go through seasons. You go through seasons, guys, where it's like life is not good, but I promise, those seasons are to create contrast so that you can appreciate the seasons where life is really going well for you. So life is going well for me. I got a great update on that land deal today. We do have a letter of intent from somebody that is interested in purchasing the property. So that is fantastic. I got
Fantastic.
the best haircut of my entire life. I feel so good. The barber is my boy. I fucking love Felipe. That is my guy. He taught me Portuguese. He taught me how to riz. Bro, I'm feeling insane today. Insane today. Today's a good day.
Fantastic. Good to hear.
Yes.
And our man carrying
Dan
the
Fazio
boats.
back. Ooh.
He's back.
Good morning, brother. We
What's
missed
going
you
on,
last
guys?
week.
What's up? What's up?
Hope you had a good time in the
Uh,
islands. Ah?
I wouldn't go back. You know what? I'll just say that I
Ooh.
wouldn't go back. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I think I'm gonna need a vacation from that vacation.
That's how it always goes, dude. That's how it always goes.
I thought I thought, because I'd never been to the Virgin Islands before. I thought, oh man, like I'm looking at some pictures. I was like, this is gonna be something spectacular. This is gonna be something exotic, interesting that I haven't done before. I don't get it. I know some people that are like, oh, I'd move to St. John in a minute. I'd move to St. Thomas or whatever. And like, my question is just like, why? Like, I have no idea why you would do that to yourself. I apologize if anybody here is from the islands. It's not a hate. I mean, everybody has their thing, their flavor of what they like, I guess. It's just like, it was not me at all. So,
But
yeah,
you experienced it and now you know.
there's a lot of stories. There's a lot of stories from this trip for sure. Yeah. Not great stories, not like pleasant stories, but there's a lot of stories. There's more stories for me to put in the treasure chest. So
You just got to do it on a sailboat, Dan. Like
that's the thing. So that's what I got. I understood. So one of the guys was like, he's like, the best choice in these type of like in the islands. He's like, it's really the best solution is just to go rent a yacht or a sailboat and just sail around the islands and just go to like sail around the British Virgin Islands, sail around the Virgin Islands, like the U.S. Virgin Islands, like just take a sailboat and just stay out on the boat. You know what I mean? And he's just like, he goes, and I could totally understand that because I'm sure that's beautiful because there is a lot of beautiful scenery. But like, it's weird being on like St. John. Like you'll look out over the ocean, you'll be like, oh my God, like it's some of the most beautiful scenery you'll ever see. And then you'll like look to your right back on land and you feel like you're in like some like backwoods, like Styx riverbank. Yeah, like it's just weird. Like it's very dirty. It's a very dirty place. Lots of just garbage and like clutter and stuff everywhere. The roads are destroyed. It's It's a strange place. I know people that go there like every year, and I'm like, man, I would never come back here.
Oh, man.
But to each their own. I think I'm gonna go if depending on how a few things go this month. I think I'm actually gonna go to the Atlantis in the Bahamas or the Baha Mar. Probably the beginning of next month or the end of this month. So I think I'm gonna go there. And that's just always my pick. I would say if you're gonna go to the Caribbean islands, like I think the Bahamas are great, and I think the move is definitely stay on a resort. But there's like no real resorts in like the Virgin Islands. Like there's no like you can't like there's not really like a resort. Like even the resorts are not very like resortish. I guess you could say like they're like resorts, But it's nothing like going to stay like the Baha Mar or the Atlantis or anything like that. It's completely different.
So I can guarantee you one thing, Dan.
What's
the Virgin Islands Tourism Agency is not going to be calling you to request a testimonial.
They are never going to be calling to request anything from me for sure. I think I also learned that I just need to give my travel plans to a travel agent and just let them take care of everything as well and tell me, what to do, because I apparently like I don't make good decisions. And then I ended up getting sick for my birthday, so I couldn't even do anything. I had rented a yacht for my birthday to sail around all day, and I couldn't even go. Everybody else went on the boat but me because I couldn't get refunded for it. So I had everybody else go. So they were all like sending me pictures of them like on the boat, having enjoying them sailing around without me. But yeah, they all felt bad, but they were all having a good time though, hopefully. So
Hey, well, happy belated birthday to you, Dan. And speaking of birthdays, ladies and gentlemen, it is Matt Riley's birthday today. Matt, happy birthday to you, brother.
Uh-oh.
Look at this man. He's decked out. He's got the floral button up today. He's feeling himself, man. Look at this guy.
That's how you do it on your birthday.
Oh, yeah.
Love it. Happy birthday, brother. Welcome back. Good to see you.
You don't feel good and look good on your birthday. You're doing something wrong.
Yeah, there you go.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's true. I was doing something wrong, I guess. Because I was propped up in my bed, like trying to rest. It's like sick as fuck. Everybody's sitting there texting me, "Hey, I hope you're having a great time for your birthday. I hope you're enjoying yourself." I'm like, yeah.
I'm trying to fake it.
Yeah, I was trying to fake it. Yeah, I didn't tell everybody. Actually, I was sick. I told like a couple of my close friends, but that was it. But
I see John's got his 17th haircut in the last 2 weeks right now.
This one is the best one. This is the same barber.
How do you even have that much hair to be cutting this often? And like every time it's a new style.
He's not going to cut his hair. He just goes to find the barber and talk to. That's all he does.
Yeah,
he's not going for the shave.
He's also got like a real hairline, dude. The rest of us are just trying to protect what we got. You know what I mean?
Too late for me, but all right.
Yeah. It's a noticeably new haircut. I just can't. Your hair's either grown that fast. I'm just confused.
He's gonna come in fully shaved next time because he's just obsessed with the haircut process.
I love it. This new barber, my boy Felipe, love this guy. He's an awesome dude. They sat me down. They taught me they were really teaching me how to speak Portuguese. I was like, guys, like I don't really speak too much Portuguese, but they speak Spanish, so I was speaking Spanish with them, and I was like, what do I say? Like, how do I riz? And they were showing me everything. Like, I'm getting crazy with it. Brazil better watch out because John Johnson is here now.
You're a fucking wild man.
It's gonna be crazy.
Brilliant.
Yes, They said, "You want to leave this place looking like a real Brazilian?" I said, "Yes, please." And he got me right.
That's awesome. Well, we're glad to have everybody on board today. It was kind of lonely last week with Dan and Matt not being here. Paul stepped up for sure, helped out a lot.
Damn. I thought Matt had my back this whole time. Matt been sleeping on the game.
Matt was around for
God.
like the first 2-3 days, I think. 2 days, 3 days, I can't remember. But the last couple of days, it was kind of lonesome. But it was good. It was good. We got the job done. The boats were carried over, so we'll continue.
You guys got the boats. Okay, all right. That's all we need. That's all we need to know.
That's all. Yep. So we're back again to carry some more boats from you, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, everyone. How is everybody doing? We're glad to have the gang back here. We're here to serve you guys, to help you guys in any way we possibly can. So, what's going on in your world? What do you guys have going that you want to see some help with? Paul's helping me. Paul, I got you. I'm going to send you that email as soon as we hang up over here.
Sweet.
Yeah. It got actually a little bit better.
Awesome.
The deal. Yeah. So we'll talk about that. Just
Very
for you, Dan and Matt, to know, got an 8-plex in. Yeah, it's an 8-plex in Dallas that I'm putting under contract. It's a seller finance. Guy's asking a little too much. We did more research on it, Paul, and he is asking more than what he should be getting. He's asking 9.25, Matt, and he wants 10% down. He initially wanted like 5 or 7% interest on the monthly payments. We worked it out to first 2 years at 2%, next 2 years at 4%, and then the last 2 years at 6%. And then he came back last Friday and he said, you know what, I'm done. I just want to get this over with. 3% straight down, fixed. I'm like,
oh, fantastic. Dude.
Okay, let me talk to my partner and see what he thinks.
Holy smokes.
That's kind of why I love creative sometimes, because if you get a good seller that's at least willing to go back and forth and entertain different structures and things, because we're the creative people and they're usually not, and that's just by nature. Sellers usually are not in real estate. They're not, in that industry. So sometimes they just get worn out by the numbers and trying to figure out what any of it even, like, when you're like, hey, first year is this, second year is going to, and it sounds great. And then they're trying to run the numbers and you're like, you know what? I wanted this before, but now I don't even, let's just meet in the middle. Let's just do 3% and call it. And then you're like, all right, cool. You kind of like wore them out and you're like, I don't want to run these numbers anymore. Let's just be done with it.
I had a great spreadsheet ready for him, showing him year by year how much he's going to make, interest, principal, all. It was ready to go. And as soon as the Zoom starts, the guy's agent says, you know what, he's just done. He just wants 3%. I'm like, delete that spreadsheet. I'm not showing that one.
That makes my calculations much easier.
Yeah. So it was pretty good. It was pretty good. So putting that down.
Now,
what's that?
Go ahead. No, finish that.
I was just going to say, and then I was asking Paul, because he's in Dallas, whether he has any buyers for it. He's like, yeah. So looks like we're going to close one, and Paul's going to take care of it, I think.
Hopefully.
I think PDRE was looking for that deal too. So we'll see. It looks like we've got some
You'll
buyers.
find someone. That interest rate's too good to pass up, even at an overvaluation.
Yeah. Hey, I was going to ask you something, Matt. I found out that this is not in the best neighborhood. It's not horrific. It's not a war zone or anything like that, but it's not great. What do I need to do as far as Section 8 is concerned to see if it would qualify or not?
I'll look up, because here in Chicago, we have, you should be able to do section. I'm thinking of short-term rental. So on the multifamily side, short-term rental, only a certain amount of units can be short-term rentals in a multifamily, but Section 8, you can do the entire thing. So again, I always reference it. What you can do, 8 units. So there's programs here only offered at 6 units and above, where it can be a project-based voucher instead of a tenant-based voucher.
Ooh,
so what you can do is you can get 100%. You can get like a HUD contract for the entire building, instead of doing individual tenant vouchers, right? So a tenant voucher obviously follows the tenant, so the tenant moves out, you're not getting paid. Where if you can get the project-based voucher or a HUD contract on the entire building, then even when those tenants move out, you're still being paid while they supply you a new tenant for the property.
Love that.
So I know here there's a lot of programs that start at 6 units and above. You can't do it for less because it's just not, it's not, doesn't work for them. So that might be something to look into. I actually remember, I'll send it to you. I think I should be able to find it in my phone, a couple different programs and services, but the HUD, Section 8 of Dallas should be able to assist with that as well.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you. Because I think that would be the best route as far as giving the most yield for us or the buyer.
Say value add wise too, when you have a HUD contract on a building here in Chicago, it's kind of like a mixed bag, because it's great because you have the guaranteed income. So when you're looking at the books, you're doing T12s for the last year and 2 years, and it's showing 100% rental income, and which you don't see anywhere else, of course, and 100% occupancy, which you don't see anywhere else. But with the HUD contracts here, they hold you to a higher standard. There's a lot of requirements in terms of inspections, yearly inspections.
Sure,
they have an escrow account set up and available at all times for any repairs. But those are on the larger stuff. For an 8 unit, it shouldn't be that big of a deal, but it is a larger value add in that sense for pretty much guaranteeing the income and then having a guaranteed contract on a property as well.
Absolutely. Beautiful. Thank you. All right. So that's mine. Dan, you wanted to add something, I think you said, or was it Matt?
What I want to do?
Oh no, I was talking about the step up interest rate. I'm doing that. I got an agent in St. Louis, a guy Keith, who I've done probably 5 or 6 deals with, and I've been chasing these 3 deals that he's had for probably 3 months. Every once in a while, I'm just like, "What's up, Keith? What's going on? What's going on?" And they're just sitting in the market. So he called me while I was in Tennessee. And while I was at the airport, and he's like, "Hey, are you still interested?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course." He's like, "All right, well, I got that one." And then he's like, "I got these 2 others." He's like, "I think they'd be open to it." He's like, "We've been under contract several times and they're just not going through." And so I was writing over the weekend a step up interest rates equation on all 3 of them. Because I was like, if I'm going to do this, let's do it right. And I'm hoping to do the same thing to wear them out in that aspect of running the numbers and trying. The guy that I've locked up 5 deals with, it's the same seller, and I was able to get him at 2.5% for 10 years. Ooh. He lives in Hawaii. He's got 15 properties that he was offloading slowly, and every single one I locked up with him 2.5 years at a 10-year balloon. So
2.5%. You mean?
2.5 rate for a 10-year balloon.
Phenomenal.
Down payment was closing costs and commission, so it was $3 grand, $4 grand, and then so already rented. The listing agent is the manager on the properties, so hopefully have some. Hopefully lock that up today. But yeah, I'm doing the same thing. I'm trying to structure the step ups because I know the guy that I've locked up 2.5% with. I already know he'll probably accept, or maybe we'll be closer. The other guy is a completely different seller. So if I throw out 2%, I'm already preparing my other offers in that instance. If he says no, okay, you don't like 2.5% for the entire time. Here's what we can do instead. Let's step it up. And I've already ran the numbers, knowing that I'm winning on the principal balance side on the step up at that point anyways, but we'll see what we can do.
Fantastic. All right. So who's got questions? I see questions coming through already on the side chat. And I see PDRE being busy as always. If my LLC is in California and I want to wholesale in Nevada, do I need to register my business in Nevada, or am I good to go? You're good to go, as far as I know. Unless if you're going to move to Nevada, then it might make sense to have one in Nevada. And if you do, Nevada is probably a better place to have an LLC than California. It's going to be cheaper for you. How much do they charge per record? Oh, I'm sorry. You're talking to PDRE. Sorry, Ella. What is the average time it takes to find a deal? Let's see. That would be about 1,122 hours, 43 minutes, and 22 seconds. So how long is it going to take you to get to that number? Okay. So, Hayden, I'm being facetious, obviously, but it's all up to you. It's all on you and how much you're going to put into it. If you're going to put in an hour a day, you may get lucky. You may find a deal right away. But on average, it takes anywhere between 3 to 6 months, right? So if you're putting in 8 hours a day, 3 months, that's 90 days. That would be 720 hours. Okay. That's average.
Yeah, I mean, I think people try to make real estate complicated or like separate from everything else in your life, and it's like, how long would it take you to do anything? Like how long? Like John's learning another language. How long would it take you to learn another language? It depends on how much time are you going to put into it? Are you going to put in only 30 minutes a day after work, or are you going to spend hours and hours a day for weeks and months at a time? You'll learn it much faster, obviously, than the person that's not. So,
and it also depends on who you find. John found Felipe, so he's down now. He's going to learn a lot faster. But I promise you, if you get a girlfriend, you'll probably do it faster than Felipe.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I got a couple of leads, Bob. You know what I'm saying? You got to keep the marketing going.
Fantastic. There you go.
You got a prospect, man. You got to get your marketing up. Get your marketing up.
But guess what?
He's doing A/B testing with his prospect. That's why he's getting the haircuts. He's doing A/B testing with the prospects to see which one is working better than the other, and then he's gonna stick with the one that works.
So long as he doesn't do A/B testing with his barbers. Hey, you do this side, you do the other side.
No way. I will stick with this barber. I will be loyal to this barber.
There you go.
This barber only, man. This is my barber.
Hey, also Hayden. I don't know if anybody picked up the nugget that Matt dropped about his deal with the St. Louis one. Matt, why did that guy call you back? Why did the agent call you back?
Yeah. So proof of concept, great relationships, transparency, everything. But we've done probably, like I said, 6 deals or so. Started with, it was on market, had a great conversation with them in the beginning, but yeah, we did good business together. And I did everything I said I was going to do. The contract was fulfilled the way it was supposed to. He knows that I was assigning every deal too. So again, transparency. And now that I've given him a proof of concept, when he has these deals, he'll call me, especially all the tough ones, all the ones that aren't working out otherwise, and he'll push it to me. And now what he does is I have somebody in my corner that's not even representing me, but when he's taking my offer to the sellers now, he's now my voice of reason to the seller saying, hey, I've done deals with this guy. If he says that he's going to close it, he's going to close it. Here's the deals that we've done together. So now he's kind of like my boots on the ground in my little whisper in the ear of the sellers at that point. But yeah, it's because we did good business together. And again, fully transparent, did exactly what I said I was going to do. And it should pay in dividends in that sense. He sells a lot of stuff all over, but he's listing a lot of like 70 to 100K, 60 to 100K Section 8 properties. So it's just like a perfect fit for both of us. I understand exactly. As soon as he sends me a property, I understand it perfectly, and then I'm able to write up an offer and send it over to him, and it works for us. So, but yeah, it's easy now because now for the most part, I don't even really have to market in St. Louis. I have Keith for me. So Keith already knows my buy box. He knows what I can do and what I can't do. And so he'll just send me stuff all the time now. And like I said, he called me when I was at the airport saying, hey, are you still interested? I got 3 properties for you. There was only 1 to begin with, and then all of a sudden it ended up being 3.
Exactly. So good business ethics. Okay. And he also did something else. He also followed up. Hey, I'm still here. Hey.
The last time I was in Tennessee, I was following up with him, and that was a month prior, a month and a half, and I was we were eating ice cream at a place, and I called him while I was in the parking lot, and we talked for 20 minutes on the phone. So it was just, yeah, I'm always talking to Keith, and he's a good guy too. So it's a lot of times it's a follow-up with some sort of positive intention as well. Like I'm not just calling and bothering him and be like, hey man, are you going to sell me that property yet? General conversation, there's a general touching base with him as well, and just staying in his good graces. I think he's a good guy, so therefore I'm going to treat him like such, and I'm going to have a back and forth conversation. He's asking me about Tennessee, I'm asking him about other things, and so it's a nice general back and forth with positive outcomes, as well. But yeah, I had to follow up with him multiple times for sure. And in that span of time too, within that Tennessee trip to now, his communication back to me started dwindling too. And I was like, oh no, like something's going on. And then sure enough, the fortune was in the follow-up, and he called me while I was at the airport.
There you go. Exactly right.
Best believe Matt took that call.
Yeah. 1 second. Walked away. Let me take this. We were in the lounge at the airport, and I was like, I'm going to go grab a coffee and talk to Keith real fast.
All right. All these questions are getting answered, so I'm not sure if we need to go over them or not. People can read them. If you've got questions, you're more than welcome to join us on stage or raise your hand. We'll bring you up or put it on the side chat. Dom!
Hi, everyone.
What a great way to start the week. What's going on,
Now,
Dom?
Mr. Bob, I know you're going to want to see my face, but I'm in the middle of doing my hair, so you'll have to see me tomorrow.
That's perfectly all right. How are you?
Yes, I'm doing well. I'm here with an update. I feel kind of stagnant, but I'm still pushing. I've been doing follow-up this last week with some people from about a month ago that said that they weren't ready to sell yet. And the lady's like, no, we're not wanting to sell at all anymore. We're not wanting to move yet. And I'm like, okay, I'll reach out in a little bit, like in another month or so, to see how you're looking with that. So, yeah, I'm definitely in the brunt of putting in the very long hours, trying to fit in 2 or 3 hours a day to get this done. But I definitely have kind of let go of it's going to possibly happen by the end of the summer. So, but I'm being patient with myself.
You never know, so don't give up, okay?
Okay.
A couple of things. First of all, thank you very much for being accountable and coming over here and giving us your reports, okay? So that's key. Second thing is, anytime someone says, oh, I changed my mind, or oh, I don't need this, or whatever, okay, the first question that you need to ask is, okay, I understand, that's fantastic. What changed?
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
Okay? So you want to know what happened, exactly.
Okay, so you're asking for a bit more specifics. You think she'd tell me a little bit more specific? Because when I asked, she said that they're just not, they were originally wanting to sell their house because they wanted to buy a new house, but she's saying that they're not wanting to buy the new house yet.
Okay.
So you think she would give me a little more?
Yeah, I understand. So what happened that you guys decided not to move into your new beautiful house?
Okay. Kind of push it a little.
Yeah, well, we want to find out what their reason is for changing, okay? And to be able to, again, you guys got to remember, we're problem solvers, okay? How can we solve that problem, okay? If they came up with this problem, is there a solution that we have that we might be able to help them with? Right. Oh, we lost our realtor, or the rates went up, or whatever, okay? So you want to know, okay, to be able to see how you can change that. Because if she's telling you that we changed our mind, we're not moving, we're not selling anymore, she's probably saying the same thing to the others, perhaps, okay? And that's one of the other things that you want to clarify, is make sure that she's not just saying that to you, but she's telling everybody, because you're not the only person reaching out to her, okay?
Right.
And so you want to find out if it's the same story with everybody. All right, great. If you can solve her problem, guess what? You're the only one who has a chance now. That's right.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, I definitely will be a bit more aggressive. I've been kind of like trying not to get cursed out, but like walking towards that line. So I'll have to just be a little bit more aggressive when I'm asking questions.
Absolutely. And it's not being more aggressive necessarily. It's curiosity.
Okay. I'm just curious.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, because you're good at building rapports, Dom. Okay. So when you build that rapport, okay, continue on it. Lean on it a little bit.
Okay. I definitely have done really good with this seller with building a rapport, because I've probably called her at least 10 times in the last 60 days. And she is, at this point, when she was saying that she wasn't ready to sell, she was like, but I have your number, so I'll give you a call. So I'll just call her back and see if I can get a little bit more information and then go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Bob.
You got it. Good job. Keep it up. Oh, the other thing, Dom, is make sure you fill your pipeline so you're not only relying on this one deal. Okay? So long as you have many leads in your pipeline, if 1 or 2 or 10 or 20 change their minds, drop out, do whatever, delay, okay? Don't want to do business with you, It's like, who cares? I got another 200 that I got to take care of. Okay.
Correct.
So that's what we mean by filling your pipeline.
Your Lanza Partners team has been very diligent in telling me that, because at first I used to get stuck like, oh, they don't want to do it. What do I do next? Call more people. So I definitely have been on that. And I do want to update. I am, because I remember John was on vacation a couple weeks ago. I am in Florida right now. You know, I'm from Louisiana. So I'm on vacation. I'm trying to make myself relax. But here we are working. We're addicted to real estate.
It's not work. It's fun.
It's at a
fun.
Point where it is fun. I enjoy getting on these calls with y'all every morning.
Well, we like having you here. So thank you. And enjoy your trip.
Thank you. I will talk to you all later this week. I'll be on call, so just holler at me or message me.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Of course.
Savion. Good morning, brother.
What's going on? Hopefully
how's it going?
It's not buns in here. I wanted to ask, though, I think I want to play fire with this agent, and I want to get, your guys' opinion on this. This agent, originally I had 4 deals she shot me. They were off market in OKC, because that's where I'm currently located right now.
Okay.
On the trip. So 4 deals in OKC. I shot offers on 2 of them, just regular offers. I shot an offer for 120 on one and 72,500 on the other one. I had one of my mentor students walk out and get photos for me, because again, I'm not from here. And it turns out one of them I had locked up at a really good price. The other one I was over by 10K. So I tried to renegotiate. The seller, I guess, just had no motivation. She didn't want to, come down on price. I'm like, okay, no problem. We'll let the other one go, and I'll keep the other one at 725. And she's like, oh no, we're not doing that. If you're gonna buy it, you got to buy both. I'm like, but that wasn't the agreement. And I have 2 separate contracts signed. And so I'm like, we nowhere stated on these contracts I want to buy these as a package deal at all. They were just simple offers. She's like, yeah, but we're not going to sell them. So at this point, I'm just thinking, I'm going to double close on the other one and just not closing the other one at this point. Because it's like, that's just not the rules. I feel like she tried to play a game with me. And then on top of that, she's just not really letting me get buyers in there. But I already had a buyer in there, and he said he'd buy it. So I'm just, at this point, I'm thinking, try to just close on the one and then don't close the other one, and say, "Oh, I can't. Something came up, and I just can't close on it."
If you took it,
I feel like it's kind of petty. Like, you knew I wasn't trying to buy this as a package deal, and now you're trying to use it as like leverage on trying to get more on the other deal. I don't know. I just want. What do you guys think about that? Am I wrong for that?
Did he want to sell both?
The seller, no. Well, here's the thing. She wants 120 grand, and she thinks the ARV is 160, and I'm like, oh, so great. So if you think ARV is 160, if I buy it at 120 and it needs 30 grand repairs, I'm only 150. 6% on the back end with commissions to list the property, and on front end, I got to pay your closing costs. It's not going to work. Even in buy and hold, it wasn't going to work. So then she just said, okay, well, my client can just sell it to a first-time home buyer at 168. I'm like, there, be done with it then. I mean, at that point, they want to sell all, but they want dang near retail value for the other ones. So, I don't know. I don't want to be like, I don't want to be mean or anything. I don't want to start problems or anything. But it's like, I don't.
So these are both. These are both on market, obviously, right?
They're pocket listings.
Pocket listings. Okay. Would they be open on the one that you're over by 10K to do a creative deal on it? Give a price.
I literally tried, Bob. I tried.
Yeah.
I tried it all. I pitched them on contract for deed. I pitched them owner financing. They're not going for it at all. Like, they're just not. So,
are your contracts signed?
Yeah, they're already signed. Like, I have 2 separate contracts signed, and what I was gonna do was just close on the other one, and then on the one, just like lose my earnest money on it. It's like $500, but I still profit like 9.5. So I'm like, still profit at the end of the day. I mean, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, unless you think I just should even do that at all. Like, honestly, it's like she's being petty, so I feel like I should be petty as well. But 2 wrongs don't make it right, though.
Do you have a buyer for the one that you think?
Yeah. He's already walked and said he'd buy it. Yeah.
Did you walk the property while you were in OKC?
Literally. Say again?
Did you walk the property while you were in OKC?
No, I've never seen a property a day in my life. It was just because I already had the photos when I landed here and all that. I already had the photos and stuff. My buyer already he walked it the day I landed,
Mm-hmm.
so it's just no need for me to be there at all. And I think the agent is related somewhat to the client, so that makes it even a little bit more worse. But yeah, I mean, I got people at the event that told me to do just close on the first one and just don't close on the other one. Like if that's how she wants to play games. I also want to ask, would that be open? Would I be open to like they can't like
You're
sue me
not
or anything
liable
that,
for
right?
anything, bro.
No.
You always got to make sure in your agreement that it states that this is the entire agreement in full. You know, even if they want to use whatever state contract they have, whatever like local contract they have, this is the entire agreement in full. Anything else mentioned needs to be put in writing.
Exactly. Okay,
Right.
yeah, I'll be fine then. I'll just
Right.
close on the first one and just not close on the other one. That I'm guessing because it's just like, yeah, no, okay.
What are the close of escrow dates on both properties?
So yeah, this is what we did. So my guy, I told him the situation. He said, "Look, I'll buy it. We'll close in 7 days. I'll buy it on the 17th. That's like what, a week from today.
Mhm.
So the first one we're gonna close on the 17th, and the other one we extended closing till the 20th or no 21st. So that's like a Friday of that same week. And then I'm just like again like, oh, I can't make it happen, but you guys can keep my earnest money, but I try to make it happen, but it just won't work or something like that.
I wouldn't even mention that you're not going to try to close on the other one, bro. I would just close the first one.
No, that's what I'm saying. I haven't told the agent at all. I'm just getting your guys' opinion. Like I'm just going to close the first one, and then after that one's fully closed and funded and everything's done,
Yeah.
then I'm like, all right, I can't make the other one work. Like
I would try to
guys, and they say
renegotiate, but if they don't want to renegotiate,
I tried. I gave him an offer of $100,000, and we'll close on both properties and we'll be done.
well,
He's
listen,
like, no, that's not
once you
gonna
close
work.
on the first one, bro, and they see you're a real buyer and they know you're going to perform, after you close that first one, they might strongly reconsider that number. But
We'll
I would
see.
say
I
close
mean,
on that first one.
I was gonna give it to my mentor for $110,000 and not make any money on it just for the other one to move forward. But they still were not even gonna come to $110,000. They wanted 120 flat, and that was just done deal. So they're not motivated. They're just not motivated enough. So yeah, okay. I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and just close on the first one. I just wanted to know how you guys felt about it. So
I think ultimately, Savion, it's a business decision that you need to make, okay, and how you want to run your business. Is there a right or wrong answer here? I'm not sure. It just, in my opinion, it comes down to your ethics, what you think would
Right.
be right.
right. Okay. Cool. All right.
Right?
I appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate bro.
Mr. Short, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How is everyone doing?
Fantastic.
Andrew.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah, good to see you.
Hope you had a nice weekend.
It was very relaxing. How about you guys?
Yeah, pretty chill. Hung out with the family. Dan had a great time at Virgin
God,
Islands.
quit smiling like that.
I can't, man.
Nice.
Sorry.
John's risen himself up over
I'm
there.
rizzing myself up, man. You ever been rizzed before? Man, that's a different feeling, man.
Unbelievable.
I'm sorry. Let me just chill.
Hey, Dan, I love that question. Two questions that you posted up there.
Yes.
But what do you have planned? How many of you need to know how to accurately audit your business for each quarter and the importance of it? You're going to show people how to do that?
I actually, you know what, Bob? I just might actually, now that you mentioned it, now that you casually put it aside, I might just have something in plan for the end of this week. I may or may not just be doing a free masterclass on how to accurately audit your business for each month and each quarter. So maybe not.
Wow.
We'll see. And it might just be exclusive to REI Rev members. I don't know. So you guys just have to keep active on here just to really see what's going on.
That nobody should miss. That is so important, so valuable. So valuable.
But yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I'm doing all this week. So for people who don't know, like, I mean, I have a lot of people that go like, well, I don't think I need to do that yet because, I just started and I haven't even closed the deal yet. And I'm like, you should be doing it regardless. Like, right? Like
That's the perfect time to do it, though.
Yeah, it's the perfect time to do it. Like,
yep.
if you put yourself into a position where you're putting your focus on trying to start anything, right? Whether it's like you're selling, Italian ice and seashells on the beach, or whether, you're selling lemonade down the street, or whether you're, selling, multi-million-dollar complexes in Miami Beach, you need to understand and know what your model is, where your highest expenditures are, how much money you're spending every week, every month. Are your employees doing their job, right? If you have people working for you, that's included. That I'm talking about VAs, cold callers, attorneys, anybody that's on your payroll, anybody that you're consistently paying every single day, every single week, every single month, or whatever. You need to know and evaluate, are they actually adding value to my business, or are they just taking money out of my account, right? And the only way for me to do that is to go back through and look at, like, okay, has our numbers improved from this to that, right? And it doesn't matter, like I just said, like, if you just started your business, 2 months ago and you haven't even closed the deal, go back through, look at how many calls you've made, right? Even if you're your only employee, you need to evaluate yourself and your work output just as much as you're evaluating any future employees, right? Like, I still evaluate myself at the end of each quarter. What could I have done better? What could I have done differently? So at the end of each quarter, you should look at everything through as negative as a light as possible. And I mean that in the most, like, positive way, if that makes sense. Like I don't mean that look at it as like, and sit there and go, oh, I'm a failure, I'm this and that. Like, no, I'm not saying that, right? I'm saying you need to look at your business through a pessimistic viewpoint to try to see what you're not doing right. This is not the time to sit there and congratulate yourself, pat yourself on the back, take yourself out to dinner, order bottles at the club. I mean, I don't care if you did 100% more in revenue this quarter than you did last quarter. That's not what this is for. This is, what did I do wrong? What can I do better so I can make next quarter even better than this quarter? That's what the quarterly audits and performance reviews are for. So for all of my businesses, like today, today is going to be entirely just doing, today will be like exclusively set aside for all of my employees. Not all of them, but all the ones that are required for performance reviews. We'll be having meetings. So like literally, like right after I get off this call today, I'll be doing employee performance quarterly reviews for all my employees. I actually have to fire 2 employees today. I'm gonna have to fire 2 of my employees today. So they're gonna be like fighting for their life in these quarterly reviews today that we're doing. But I'm sitting down with each of my employees. I'm sitting there talking to them one-on-one, talking to them about their performance, what they've done, putting all the facts out there in front of them so they can also see. Right. And even my employees that have done great, I'm not going to sit there and just be like, oh man, you're awesome. You're so great. I'm so happy for you. This and that, blah, 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 blah. I'll go, hey, so this is what we did. This is what you could do better. This is what I'm seeing over here. What are your suggestions? Do you have anything you would like to add for today? Do you think that we could be doing anything better? Right. Like, it's the chance for you to go back, talk to your employees and ask them, to give their input into the business. And then also give their input into themselves. And also, it's a chance for you to sit there and show them exactly what everything they have done right. And then at the end of the day, after I get through all my employees, I'm going to sit there, I'm going to do the same thing with myself. I'm going to sit there and go through a quarterly performance review for myself as the CEO and the COO of my companies. And I'm going to sit there and look at, am I being a good CEO? Am I being a good COO in this other company? Am I being, a good, manager over here in this company? Right? Am I being a good CFO? Because I literally, one of my companies I'm a CFO, one of the companies I'm a COO, and the other company I'm a CEO. So I'm sitting there, I'm looking at literally, and so I'm looking there, I'm seeing like, am I doing my job in each of those, and am I doing it to the best of my ability? And I'm going to look at it very, pessimistically and see what I could have done better. So, that's the only way you can sit there and try to do better. I always see what I could do more, because my goal is to always consistently keep producing more and more and more each month. So,
hey, Dan, I got a question for you. Based on what you just said, I do pretty much the same, except the only thing that I noticed that was a little bit different is that I evaluate myself first, then the team. But you evaluate the team first and then yourself. Interesting.
I just have so many people I have to get through. It's just like, I try to put everybody else's time as a priority before mine, right? You know what I mean? 'Cause I'm like, I'll stay up late and I'll do mine like later. I'll do mine like late in the day.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure that I'm not like pushing them to like, because some of my employees, they're all in different time zones.
Sure.
And I do everybody alphabetically based by their time zone. So I try to get everybody done all in the same day, which is tough. Like I'll be in meetings today till 8:30, 9 o'clock my time. So
the only other thing that I was taught, and I really like this, that I do is, I don't remember which mentor it was that told me this, but they said every morning when you wake up, look at your bank account. Open your bank account and look at it. Yeah. If it's not where you want it to be, you better get motivated by that. Okay. And you better do something about it. If it's where you want it to be, how are you going to keep it? Because maintaining it is just as hard, if not harder, than getting there. Okay.
I always think it's never where you want it to be. Like,
well,
you know what I mean?
That's because you're an entrepreneur. You're yeah.
It's like, I was talking with a friend of mine, and he was like, he had just posted like his physique transformation the other day, and he's lost a lot of weight. And he's looking better, every single month. And he just posted a transformation. I think it was like yesterday, maybe. And I was telling him how proud I am of him and everything. And he was like, yeah, man. He's like, but I'm not done. I'm far from done. I'm like, dude, you'll never be done. Like, you're never done. Like, it's just different levels. I was like, it's just different stages of transformations, different levels. I'm always, I'm always trying to find ways to improve every aspect. But I never look at my bank account. Like, I have more money in my bank account now than I've ever had in my entire life, and across all my accounts, and it's still like, I'm like, I still get like stingy. I'm like, that's not, because there's things that I'm missing that I still can't, go buy. And like, that's what fucks with me. You know what I mean? Like, that's what messes with me, is like, the whole reason that I make money is so that I don't have money's not a limiting factor, right? Like, I want to just be able to, like, if I want this, I go out and buy it. And for the most part, I can realistically mostly do that for like most stuff, but it's like, there's still things that I'm limited by. There's still things that I'm limited to financially, and that pisses me off. You know what I mean? It's like, I just noticed that just like being out on vacation. I saw this dude like pull up in like a fucking super yacht with a sail on the top, and they're just like, they're sailing through the islands. And the fact that I can't do that fucking upsets me. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't even, that might not even be his yacht. That could be his dad's boat. Like, who the fuck even knows? But I'm like, I want that fucking boat. And the fact that I can't just go and rent that thing for a whole week and put my whole family down, and not the fact that I can't fly to this place on a private island. I was sick as fuck yesterday, got to the airport, and my flight got delayed 3 times. I sat in the airport for 6.5 hours. And I was like, you know what? This fucking pisses me off that I can't just go jump on my plane that I sent down here and that I can get on and I can just go fly back. The fact that I still can't do that fucking pisses me off. So the fact that there's those things that are like limiting me about what I would like to do, but there's still those factors that I still can't do yet, like that those are the things that motivate me like heavily,
Absolutely.
because I'm like, I can't do those things yet. So I mean, like, but the fact that I can go and buy a pair of like, Dior shoes or whatever if I wanted to, or go shopping wherever I want, it's like that doesn't really matter to me anymore. Like there was a time where I'd be like, I wish I could go.
Exactly.
There was a time where I could be like, I used to walk past the designer collections, in mall. I was like, man, I really like those shoes. I wish I could afford those shoes. I wish I could go and buy a pair of those shoes. But it's like now that I can go and do this, like I couldn't give a fuck about those pair of shoes. I'm like, I don't even care about those pair of shoes, because like now it's like I just go to the store or go to the shop and I'll spend like $1,500 or $2,000, and it's like not even that big of a deal. But it's like I don't even care about that anymore. Like that's not enough to like motivate me. It's like I need those things that I still like can't have, right? Because it's like there's still things that are limiting me. Like the fact that like I can fly first class, but I'm still limited by when the plane shows up, when I can fucking board, when I can get off the plane, what I can do on the plane. I still have to share the bathroom with everybody else. Like it's like I'm fucking sick of it, dude. Like, I mean, when you're
Don't
sick,
tell me you're turning into
when
like
you're
a
sick,
germaphobe.
No.
Come
I'm
on,
just saying, like when you're sick and you're like, and you're tired and you're like not feeling great. And you're like constantly like having to like blow your nose and like all this stuff, and you're sitting on the plane with everybody else, and like you feel bad if like you cough, right? Like you don't want to like cough around like other people, so you're just like trying your best to like maintain composure and all this stuff on the plane. And I'm just like, dude, like I don't really want to get up and like have to keep like going in like the restroom to like blow my nose and like cough and do all this stuff because I'm like sick. And I'm just like, it just pisses me off. Like I wish I was just like, I wish like those are the little things that push me towards that like major aspect. You know what I mean? Because it's just like there was a time when I couldn't even afford to fly first class, but it's like now I fly first class on every flight. But it's still like there's still like these huge limiting factors that you'll still see.
All right, Dan.
Yep.
We hear you. We see you. We see you, Dan. I want to ask.
And just so that everybody knows. Sorry, I was just gonna say, just so that everybody knows. I mean, yeah, Dan's is a lot of materialistic things. So, mine as well. A lot of people are okay, but there are other things that could motivate you as well. I mean, serving people is one. Okay, being able to help. If you have a passion in something, if you're passionate about whatever art or sports or whatever, okay, I mean, it might be that Dan in his 40s might say, you know what, I've accomplished so much, but damn it, I still don't own the Miami Dolphins, and that's what I want to do. Okay, who knows? Okay. All right, so just don't put limits on yourselves. Don't put limits on yourselves and what you want, and it's okay to want. Yes. It's okay.
Yeah, and I think it's like I said, it's like not so much about the actual thing itself. It's more about the ability, like, and the more money you'll make, you'll understand this. It's the ability to be able to do whatever it is that you want to do. Mm-hmm. And like, you'll really understand that the more money that you make. Like, you might think you understand what I'm saying right now, but the more money you make, you'll really start to understand what I'm saying, because the more access that you get to things, the more that you realize, like, you're skipping over this person and you're looking at the person over here and you're looking at how miserable they are and you're looking at how, farther up in front of the line you are or whatever. Like, like, so for me, like, for when I go to the airport, I have every paid upgrade, whatever, to have, like, I go through like the front of the line to the TSA because I pay a yearly fee to have like this, the clear, fast check. Yeah, fast check line. I go straight to the front of the line. I'm looking at all these people sitting there miserable. I show up like, an hour before my flight leaves. I just walk straight to the front of the line. I get asked to go through the TSA first. I keep my shoes on, and then I board the plane first. I sit up on the front of the seats, and then I gotta like watch everybody else like go to the back of the plane. And it's like you see those little things, and you're like, wow, like I used to be that guy, right? And you get to see how much more comfort it adds into your life of just the access of what you're able to have around you, how much easier it makes things. It's like, to me, that's the whole aspect that I like enjoy about making money. It's not exactly about like having the private jet. It's about more like I want it so that I can have the access to do whatever I want. I need to go here tomorrow. I can do it. Right. I don't have to wait for American Airlines to get a flight there so that I can book it to go there. Right. I don't have to stay on their schedule. I want to show up at 8 a.m. because I have to be at a 10 a.m. meeting. Then I can make that happen.
Uncle G talking here.
Well, like I'm just, yeah, for real. But he's right about that, right? Like it's like if I need to be at a 10 a.m. meeting tomorrow and I want to show up at 8 a.m., I can make sure that plane is there so I can show up and make it there on time. Like it's more about those things. It's not like, oh, well, I have to change the meeting because I can't get a flight till 3 p.m. because that's the only time American Airlines has available and blah, 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 blah. It's like, well, if I want to go there and they need to meet at 10, I'm like, okay, I need to be there at 8. Meet me at the airstrip at 6, where you got to take off at 6:30 to be there at 8 o'clock. So it's, that's the ability of those things, like what it's able to give you, the things it's able to give you access to. Like,
yep.
It just makes certain things like more accessible, and you don't have that, like, because I think everybody hates the limiting factor, right? You hate when you fucking walk in somewhere. It's like, it's not about the store. It's not about the store that you walk into that you can't afford that particular thing. You're like, it's not about the shoes. It's about the fact that even if I wanted those shoes, I couldn't buy it. Like, that's what used to piss me off. It's like, I don't like feeling like I don't have access to something, right? Like, I still want to have access to be able to buy those shoes. Even if I wanted to take those shoes and buy them and throw them in a dumpster when I got home, it's like, I want to be able to have the ability to do that. I don't want to have the ability to be able to sit there and go, hey, I can't do this just simply because, I can't, I can't afford it. I just never want to have that. I never want to have to say that to myself, right? I want to go somewhere. I want to stay in a specific hotel because I like this view. I want to have the ability to do that. I want to be like, oh, I can't stay in that hotel. How many of you guys ever go to a vacation and you can't stay at the hotel you would like to stay at that's on the ocean?
All the time.
So you got to stay 5 streets back, right? Because you can't afford to stay on the hotel, the nice hotel on the beach, on the ocean, because you got to stay 5 streets back because that's the one you can afford, right? You have to stay at the Holiday Inn, which is, 5 or 10 blocks back from the beach. And you're like, well, at least I can walk to the beach, but I can't look at the beach when I wake up every morning. But I wish I could. It's like, that should fucking piss you off that you can't do that. That should be those motivating factors. Like, think about all those things. And it's like, that will enforce you to be like, hey, I want this so that I can get up and I can go do the things that I want to do, right? Because even if I want to go stay at that other hotel in 5 streets back, if I want to, I can still go do that. But I'm not limited to make a choice. That's more what it's about for me. It's like, I'm not limited to make a specific choice.
So you don't want to go stay at a Holiday Inn or a Ramada?
I mean, preferably, I don't want to. Preferably, I don't want to. No. Preferably, I don't want to. But there's times where I'm like, I didn't care. You know what I mean? There's times when I didn't care.
Absolutely. Source Vapor.
Oh yes.
Sorry, go ahead, John.
How you doing? Oh, sorry.
No. All you, brother. How you doing?
Doing good. You guys can call me Jason. This is kind of like my online username.
Is that a llama as your picture?
It's a dog. It's
a dog?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, first things first, I just want to say, I really appreciate you guys. I've been tuning in to the last couple live streams in the past couple weeks, and I've really learned a lot. Now, I was interested in wholesaling probably like 2-3 years ago, but just like the thought of it, going out, making easy money, so I thought, and then coming out with a big profit. Now that I'm in these discords and, actually doing my own research, looking things up, trying to understand terms, it's obviously not as simple, but I understand more of the process now, so I feel better about it. I have not gotten any deals yet, though. I have not gone through with anything. I've not put a contract through, so I'm still, testing the waters, just trying to learn as much as I can. But kind of what John said in the chat also, like, I don't want to make my money, make decisions for me. I did recently get into a car accident, so financially, I definitely could be in a better place, but I'm trying not to like quit my job, put everything I understand, that may be the jump I could need, but it could also be the downfall to me, and I really just want to be safe about it. So anyway, my question right here is, when coming out of a deal, let's say things are not looking good, is it just a simple sign of a contract and I'm out of that with no risk at all to me? Or is it more complicated than that?
I'm not sure I understand the question. Can you repeat that, please?
Yeah. So I'll give an example. So let's say I'm talking to a seller, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And we go into a contract.
Okay. Are you wholesaling?
I am wholesaling, yes.
Okay.
So currently, I did pay for a mentorship in another Discord because it was a little bit more cost effective. But it provided me with a list of buyers in all 50 states. So now maybe at first I thought, let's go. I have a list of buyers in all 50 states. This will be easy. Put someone in contract and I'll, whatever buyer I choose from. Obviously, once I started calling buyers, it was not as simple. People have their specifications for properties. No one wants to put their risk in money if they don't see a guaranteed profit, of course. So it was a lot more complicated, but started going through, and I also started getting in contact with listing agents and talking to them. I made a pretty good relationship with like 3 agents right now that are sending me properties. Now, right now, I'm not seeing any crazy profit from them. It looks like at most I'm breaking even with, like fix and flip. But anyway, sorry, I'm rambling. Let's say I go into a contract, okay, I don't have a buyer. Like I had one at first and something happened, he is not going to be buying. Mm-hmm. Getting out of that contract, is it as simple as just signing another one? Because I don't have any contract written up for something like that, if that makes sense.
So what you're talking about is a cancellation agreement.
Correct. Okay. Yep.
Okay. And so, yes, it is as easy as that, but it also depends on the timing. Okay. Mm-hmm. If your contingencies are all passed. Mm-hmm. So, for example, the biggest one that we all use here is the inspection contingency, right? The inspection period. Let's say, for example, it's a 10-day inspection period and you're on day 11 and you haven't found anybody and you want to cancel now. You can cancel, but you're going to lose your EMD at that point. Okay. So that's why you want to cancel if you can't find a buyer. You want to cancel.
That. Got you.
Exactly right. You want to cancel at the latest on day 9. Okay. You'd be really pushing it going to day 10. Right. I normally cancel around day 7, day 8. Okay. If I know I can't have a buyer. Yeah, having said that,
smart thing.
Okay, we always go for buyers first. We always try to find our cash buyers first to find out exactly what you mentioned, what their buy box is. And then based on that information, now I know how to negotiate with the sellers. Okay. So for example, if you put it down under contract at 110, but your buyers need it at 90, so you need to be below 90. 110 does not make sense. So you need to continue the negotiations with that seller at that point.
And then if it doesn't break through, then before that 10-day period, I would cancel. Okay. I got you. Yep. All right. I know it was a simple question. It's just, I wanted to make sure everything is good. I'm planning on just diving straight into it soon. So
simple, medium, hard, does not matter. We'll answer them for you here.
I really appreciate it, guys.
Right. You got it.
We appreciate you, man.
Thanks for coming up.
Of course. Yes, sir. I will.
Bob, I want to ask you and everybody up on here. So earlier, I mentioned that I did get a LOI for the land. They want to pay $75,000 an acre.
Nice.
That's insane.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have it at $65,000 an acre. So purchase price on our side is $975. So at $75,000 an acre times 15 acres.
That's about $150K. Okay.
Yeah, minus so multiply that by 0.8 9.4 because of the commissions, and then subtract the 975. That would leave us about 960. No. What? Sorry.
96.
Yeah, let's see. 75.
Should be more than that.
75,000 times 15 minus times 0.9.
And so the numbers get that big, John, you got to turn your calculator sideways so you can fit more zeros in there. You're starting to do those types of deals now.
Yeah, this is what I want. So okay, that's gonna leave us an assignment of 82,500 before me, breaking bread with Jason, and I want to throw Mike some money for this too, because his SMS system put me on. So I don't know. I don't know if this is an offer that we should accept, immediately, because only the first offer, it's been on the market for a little over a week now. What would you guys have to say about, just getting this first offer? I know it's on the table, but would you take this offer immediately? What would you do?
What's your current listed per acre price?
We're asking 80,000 an acre. So it's 1.224 million we're asking.
Dude, 75 an acre is not bad.
No. What are the other terms or stipulations of the offer? Is there anything?
I'll read it to you. So they say
it's probably going to need P&Z approval because it's a development deal, right?
So they say the inspection period will have 45 days and a rezoning period of 120 days. At the end of the inspection period, the buyer shall, in their discretion, issue a notice of suitability to seller prior to purchase contract and receive full refund. Prior to the insurance of the notice of suitability, buyer shall have the right to terminate the purchase contract and receive full refund for earnest money. Buyer is rezoning for use as boat/RV storage. So that's interesting. That gives us a little bit of insight as to what the purpose of the purchase would be. So there might even be an opportunity for me to then take that information and start my own outreach, reach out to some boat or storage places. See, hey, you guys want to buy this? We have one offer right now. Would you be willing to give us full asking? Closing estimated to occur on or before December 31st. It's very, very far away. And they have
good luck with that closing.
Big land deals like that, though, John. Big land deals like that, though, John, have long wind-up times. I can tell you right now, I'm working on infill lots with my partner for land brokerage because we know that it's going to take our 150 acre parcel, our 20 acre parcel with ag use on it. It's going to take us probably 12 months, 6 months, 7 months to get all the P&Z approval, environmentals done, all that type of stuff completed. So we know that those deals will close, the checks will be good. But in the meantime, we want deal flow coming in on some other stuff too. So it's not uncommon. Usually on the LOIs that we see come in, we want some sort of hard earnest money commitment right out of the gate. That's the biggest thing on yours. They're saying, oh, if it doesn't work out, we really want this 20K we're committing to you back. And I would say
wasting 6 months of your time too.
Exactly.
Right. That is where you push back, is your earnest money needs to be hard. They need to give you a hard commitment in earnest to do their research. If they feel like it's a good deal, you're giving them 5K off an acre. That's great. I think it's a win-win for everybody, but earnest money's got to go hard.
Yeah, that's why I asked what your other terms were, because the purchase price isn't terrible. It's like a 6% discount off of what you're currently at, so that's not terrible. So then you got to look at the other terms and see where you can shave something off of the other terms, or how you can make it more appealing to your side, and kind of force their hand to close this thing out and not give them the freedom to drag this out as long as they want, and then also have the luxury of, hey, it's been 4 months and it's not going to work out for us. The zoning or whatever it was came back not as nice as we thought, so we're going to ask for our 20 grand back and walk away. And now it's December of the end of the year. And now you're going to have no activity till the following year. And so I would try to force their hand in that sense.
The two things that came up to my mind right away, John, was the EMD, which Paul just mentioned, going hard as soon as possible. The second thing would be to say, okay, if you want this discount, that's fine, but you pay closing costs, meaning realtor commissions.
Yeah, agent fees are negotiable.
So then they paid. Oh, but
you can say we'll give you 75K. You can say we'll pay you 75K, or we'll let you take it for 75K an acre, but you pay buyer's agent commission. You pay your buyer broker.
Okay.
Yeah, you can
but
negotiate that.
They pay my guy too, then, right? They pay the full 6%.
It's all negotiable. It's all negotiable. You can start with that 6% and come to an agreement with they pay their own buyer's agent and you pay your agent. However you want to work that.
Right now, you're taking a 6% hit on the purchase and, having to pay commissions. So instead of being like, all right, fine, let's say we can settle on the 75, but here's how you're going to make back some money on that is we'll agree to 75, you're going to pay commissions, and then you're also going to do non-refundable earnest money. So that way, they feel good because their offer is being accepted at the price that they offered, but you're squeezing out some extra money and you're forcing their hand in pushing this thing to the closing line.
I was working an industrial outdoor storage deal not too long ago, John, and my buyer basically said, hey, we're asking for pricing guidance because obviously it was price unavailable, seek whatever, but we're seeking pricing guidance. The guys came back and they said, okay, well, we'll pay $13 million for this and we'll cover buyer broker, or we'll pay whatever the higher amount if they cover buyer broker. Like, so all of a sudden they were putting different scenarios in front of the seller a couple different times.
Remember, price and terms. They want price, okay, but you got to do it on my terms.
Okay, so if it's my terms, if they get 75K an acre times the 15, that's 1.25. That'd be mine. They'd pay the closing cost. So then subtract the 975,000. That'll leave me with 150,000 to play with. So that would be
much better.
Much better.
Yeah, but are you really sad if you made 80?
Yes, I want to clear 6 figures on this. No cap.
So do that. Put it under contract. Okay. Accept backup offers.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't just rely on them. Okay.
Yeah, you can go under contract and still be accepting backup offers. You can still entertain phone calls and conversations. You can still continue to market because, again, you don't want to be, especially in a land deal of that size and of that capacity, where it's a potential 3, 4, 5 months down the road until a potential closing or not going through. You don't want to sit on your hands for the next 3 to 5 months hoping that this one deal goes through and then all of a sudden it doesn't. And then, like I said, you're in February, December, or whatever month, and now you got to start all over. So yeah, no problem, man. We're going to accept this offer, and then you do your due diligence. And while you're doing that, I'm still going to market this thing, and I'm still going to be searching just, for backup offers.
Yeah. And that's what PDR is saying in here. You got an LOI. It's not a hard contract. It's going to say at the bottom of your LOI, it's going to say this is a non-binding agreement. So just some sort of, and maybe get guidance from your land guy out there that's doing this with you. But like, if you really feel like you need to have some sort of clause that says, seller will continue to market the property and entertain various LOIs with buyer to receive first right of refusal or whatever you want to do, right? But like, you could seek guidance from the land broker since he's experienced out that way on what you could do. And just tell him kind of what you're looking to do. Hey, I like this offer. I want the earnest money to be hard. They're committing to us. That means we're slowing down on, X, Y, and Z. We'd also, my other concern is I'd still like to actively market this. What do you think? And just see what he says. I bet you get some good info.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Ernesto, how you doing, brother?
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
What's going on?
How's it going, brother?
Going good. A little something different today. Instead of espresso, I have what's called nitro coffee.
Ooh, I'm somewhat familiar. Like a cold brew?
Oh, nitro.
Yeah, nitro cold brew is pretty good.
Let's go. I just had one yesterday.
I've realized this apartment has these little workspaces, and they also have
the
a
draft.
coffee downstairs. So best believe for the next month that I have here, I'm only living off of my Yeti and my coffee. That's all I need.
It's the one thing I miss about living in a high rise is we had the same thing. We had cold brew stations where you could just go up in different parts and just pour yourself a cold brew. We had espresso machines. We had the whole deal. I was a fiend when we were living in a high rise.
It's so good, man. You know, it really makes you wonder. It really makes you realize why America is a renter's nation. You know, people like the amenities, but at the same time, we all know owning is the key. But besides for that, how's everybody doing today? Bob, Dan, Paul, Andrew, Matt, John, talk to me. Updates. What's going on?
We just discussed the land deal. I got a LOI from an individual. I don't know much about him, but we just kind of talked about what their terms were, and I'm gonna try to negotiate for him to pay the closing costs so that I can net a good price. You know, I don't want to go below 75 an acre and have them pay closing costs because then I can kind of break everybody off and like still make six figures. My goal on this deal is to net at least bare minimum 100,000 US dollars on this deal. I need that money. Because I'm gonna take that money and I'm gonna invest that money and I'm gonna buy assets that will create financial freedom for me. I will work with Bob and Matt. We're gonna structure some creative deals, and I promise you guys, we will be at that cash flow. This money is gonna be the vehicle for me to get that monthly cash flow, bro. That way we can really be balling.
It looks like we're finally making some progress here. As we all know, over the last few weeks, John was recently talking about Lambos and things like that, and now I think it slowly is steeped into his head. And I talked to John in one of the voice channels for 6 hours over the weekend, legit 6 hours. And so I think that light bulb is finally gone off now, where he's gonna do right with that money.
Wait, your wife wasn't jealous?
Oh my God, it was a problem for sure. I went to bed at like 1:30 in the morning.
John, you put him in the doghouse, man.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I didn't realize how long we were. I went to go get up from my table here to go to bed. My legs almost didn't work from sitting here for so long. It was legit like 6 hours. It was insanity. We had some good conversations though. We had what's that guy Larry Cashflow King.
Yeah, he came in here. He got us all excited and interested, talking about
We'll see. Yeah, he got us interested more than excited because we got to see after signing some NDA and things like that. But we'll see what he's got going on.
We'll see.
Hey Matt, real quick. So I'm cooking up a little something on the Section 8 side of things. I'm forming my own little tight knit private equity group, and you know, obviously, REI Rev, you guys are, you know, anybody who's reputable here, who is a good person, is most importantly honest, is free to join. However, for right now, you know, you guys know Angel Herrera, when he hit that $70,000 rip in LA a couple weeks ago. We're working closely together to start this Hispanic private equity group, and we're going to start with Section 8 properties. We're getting the legalities of it figured out within the next couple of weeks. And so just know, Matt, we might be reaching out in order to have you guide us to scale, because we're going to
say, I got to check my 23andMe. I don't know if I'd fit in on the Hispanic. I don't think I'd qualify there, but I'd be happy to give any kind of resource otherwise than that.
No habla español?
Yeah,
Come
no
on, man.
habla. I get it. Yeah, very aquí.
Tacos and burritos. That's all you know, right?
Yeah, long time. Yeah, not even remotely. But yeah, I'd be happy to help in any type of way, man. That's exciting. What made you guys go that route?
I mean, obviously we know that, you know, rentals and acquiring the assets, that's what creates the wealth. You know, wholesale real estate, the big rips, they're great for the capital gain. However, it's not something that you can sustain long term, as well as have the freedom that most people want, you know? you actively have to be a part of your business. So buying rentals was the next clear thing to do in order to buy the properties, have some cash flow, guaranteed cash flow, thanks to the American.
I was going to say, all of that sounds good, but what made you go to Section 8 route?
Guaranteed. However, obviously everything has it's not everything is, there's always a silver lining to everything. And so, that's where I would like to, have you consult us. Even though Angel, he has a portfolio, he has 2 rentals under his belt. It'd be my first time, buying a house to rent out, or in this case, it'd be our company as a whole. We're going to structure everything. And so, more so, we want you to consult us to how we can scale because, given how we're all going to be pitching in capital, we already have the funding side of it set. We're looking to easily acquire 2 to 3 properties every single month.
Yeah.
That's our goal to begin. And it's 6 of us at the moment. And combined, so far this year alone in wholesaling, we've done $750,000, the 6 of us, for the year. So we want to take it to the next level and become beasts.
Oh, that's absolutely, and I think it's an admirable goal, of course, and I think it's absolutely realistic, especially through the 6 of you. I mean, there was a period of time where I was doing that solo, and so it's and there's guys doing 10 times that. But I think Section 8 is definitely appealing, especially on the guaranteed income side and all the things that come with it. But it comes with its own list of caveats that you have to pay attention to, especially if you're scaling at a specific size. It's easy to buy one and get acclimated with it and figure out the blueprint, right? And what to do and what not to do and kind of learn trial by fire. But when you're buying at that scale, especially Section 8 properties, you can get burned pretty quickly. Where, again, I had to learn myself in terms of what to do, what not to do. I used to, again, over rehab everything to the point where if I ever got kicked out of my house or I lost my house, I would live here because it's this nice type of stuff. And then I would show up 4 months later and the place was ruined. I had central AC, brand new central AC, all of these extra amenities in the houses, because I was like, I'll get more money. And Section 8 doesn't give a shit what you got in that house as long as they only count bedrooms and that's it. And then everything would get destroyed. And like I said, I'm getting giant AC bill repairs and costs and things like that. And the dishwashers are breaking because they're not, so now I have a pretty specific model of what I do with Section 8 properties. Like if there's certain things in the house, I actually take them out because it's not worth the repair costs. It's not worth all of all the headaches that come with it. And you'll see that expense bill go from this big to this big. Because again, Section 8 only cares about specific things, and you still want to be a good landlord. Of course, you don't want to just rent 4 walls and a floor to somebody, but there are certain things that you have to do, especially if you're trying to buy 2 to 3 a month, where you're potentially got 10 to 20 at the end of the year. It's very, very easy. It's appealing to look at, right? To have 10 to 20 properties at the end of the year, but you have to realize at that level, once you start growing at that pace, that snowball effect can really take control if you don't have control of your expenses. One expense on one house, all right, fine. I can take care of that. It's $1,000. It's $3,000 for a big repair, something along those lines. You got 10 to 20 properties and 5 or 6 of them, you got big repairs on those. Now you're diving in your pocket for 20, 30 grand.
That's the big bill, yeah.
The big bill. So even if you have funding available, you got capital sitting on the side, whether it's from U6 or you got private money, whatever it is, that's big money that you're going to have to be putting into it. And some of those repairs too are not value add repairs. I had one where there was something, this was 2 years ago or something like that. There was something with the gas line in the kitchen. Tenant reported the smell of gas, so they called ComEd, our gas company, and they came out there, or Nightcore, I'm sorry. They came out there and they shut off the entire gas in the house because they're like, there's a leak, there's this. And then they found out there was a hole in the gas line in the backyard. And so they were like, you're going to have to repair this whole thing. And so I had to tear out half the backyard. So they had to they had to trench out the entire backyard and replace this big chunk of gas line. And don't quote me, but it was a couple grand for sure. Not a value add repair. Like it didn't, I can't list that property tomorrow and go, oh, brand new gas line in the back. Like, you sure, man? Yeah, you're supposed to have new gas like that. Yeah, you're supposed to have gas lines that are operational, not leaking. So it's not like, replacing a roof and now I got a brand new roof for the next 20 years. That's a value add thing. So there's a lot of stuff on the rental side. kind of specifically on the Section 8 side too, that you just need to pay attention to, because again, that you can just get really caught up in those expenses, and they're unnecessary expenses that just bleed into that bottom line that aren't adding value to the house. You're just basically paying expenses to keep up, and that's it. So again, if you're growing at that size, those are going to be important things, because that snowball can get really big, and then you get so behind on the expenses. Section 8 comes and does their inspection, and then you fail an inspection, and now Section 8's not even paying you until you resolve the issues. And now you got a $20,000 expense on multiple properties and not even bringing in income, because Section 8 flagged you and they're not going to pay you until you fix them. So then what? And you end up on the tired landlord list, and you got a bunch of people in REI Rev calling you because you got liens on the property and shit, and you got no other choice but to sell your properties because you don't have 50 grand or whatever it is to start paying all this stuff off. So
that's why we want to have you, and your busy schedule to consult us, with your SOPs, everything that you have, almost like the blueprint, to see how we could best apply that, not only beginning, but then scaling, because, end goal, God willing, man, 20 properties at the end of the year sounds great. Yeah. But, rather than moving quickly, we want to move correctly. It's all about moving correctly. If it takes us 2 years to get 20 properties, that's fine. But so long as we get there, doing it the right way,
Well, and that's the effect of the snowball thing that I'm talking about. Like, you can get to 20 quick, but are you going to be able to do 20? Are you going to be able to replicate that and do 20 next year if you didn't buy the first 20 correctly and set up all of the systems and processes correctly on the first 20? Because if you set it up correctly, and even if you do it a little slower and it takes you a year and a half, 2 years to get to that 20, you do it correctly, now you're guaranteed to grow that to 40 and 60. And, you can much, much easier do that instead if you set it incorrect. And you got to 20 and that's it. Now you fucked yourself because you didn't set it up right. And now you can brag and say, I got 20, but you won't have 20 next year because you're going to have a bunch of stuff going wrong. And, it's just, I always tell people, I never want that to be someone's like, when the excitement that you have to do this, I always want you to have that excitement, or that it's always tough when someone takes on too much in the beginning. And then all of a sudden they get a bad taste in their mouth because a bunch of stuff went wrong. And then they're like, I'm selling everything. I'm done. Why did I even think this is a good idea? Why did I think Section 8 was a good idea? Why did I think rental properties was a good idea? I never want to do this again. Sell it, be done, and I'll go do something else. I never want that for anybody, because obviously real estate can be that vehicle to get you to pretty much wherever you want in life, whatever that goal is or whatever that fantasy, whatever it is, it can get you there. But if you don't set up those systems and processes in the beginning, it's going to be a pipe dream at that point.
I had
it's
a
going to
question
be a gas
for you, Matt.
pipe dream that needs repair.
Question for you, Matt. I know you're talking about the snowball on the capital expenditure side, all the big ticket items that don't add value, right? But curious for you, on your investing journey, at what point did you feel like the whole system was sustaining itself, right? Like, you had enough cash flow from enough rentals to be able to cover those big ticket items. What number was that for you? Or was it a cash flow number? Or like, how did you think of it that way?
Yeah, that's a good question. It wasn't necessarily a specific number. It was basically enough money where no matter what took place at each of those properties, I'd be able to come out of my expenditure account and cover anything that took place on all the properties. There was a period of time when I was growing, and I kind of did what I just referred to when I first started out, where the idea of owning multiple properties was so appealing to me, where I was like, as soon as I save up this dollar amount, I'm buying another property. And then as soon as I make that down payment, I'm back down to zero. And then I'm saving up money until I get to that number again, that magic number. And then I'm putting it on a down payment. And so I was going from like down payment money to broke, down payment money to broke. So then any expense that came up, thank God at that point, I had a good paying W-2 job when I was working in the union, but that was my safety net. So when repairs would happen, I would just use my W-2 money to pay for the repairs. And thank God I had that. And because I was doing that, though, because I gave myself that safety net and I wasn't auditing my business, I didn't even fully understand what my properties were doing. And I didn't understand the expense side of things. And I was like, oh, don't worry, I just worked a long week. I'm going to get a $2,000 paycheck, 20, whatever it was. I'll just use that and pay. Yeah, it sucks the expense came, but I'll just pay. It wasn't until I removed that safety net and did a full audit of my business I was like, oh, you can't do that. Like this will never grow and it'll never survive if I keep using funds from other places to do that, because if these funds ever go away, how are these going to be self-sufficient? So once I was able to stash away and not spending the money in the beginning either, you're going to start getting cash flow. And that's the biggest mistake that people do, is they immediately start spending that money on whatever, or whatever your lifestyle is now. You're going to go get that bigger apartment, or you're going to go get that car payment that's a little bit more. And then you're going to force yourself to have to keep buying properties just to keep up with the lifestyle that you have. So staying at your current lifestyle amount and expenses as long as you possibly can to help grow that. And then also to grow that expense account. So no matter what happens, if a $5,000 roof expense comes, I can pay that on 10 of my properties right now if that was the case, and that's okay. And having, a lot of times I'll try to do repairs too when I first purchase a property. So if it's got a 15-year-old roof or whatever issues, I try to fix those items because those are value add anyway. But like for me, I used to do, like I said, brand new AC units, all of those things. Now, depending, I'll just unplug and I'll store the AC unit. I'll put a box or a bag over it, and then I just do window units throughout. So that way when it's resale time, I'll do either a brand new AC unit or whatever it is when it's time to sell, but not up front. So I think getting that expense account to the point where you can afford any of the large expenses on majority of your properties is where you feel safe. Because there's a period of time when I was growing where it's dangerous, man. I was riding a really thin line of, if an expense came, I was fucked. I mean, I remember I had a pipe burst one time in my 3-unit. I had a tenant move out early in the middle of December. She moved out middle of December. It was freezing here, of course. And to save money, she called the gas company and canceled her account 3 days before moving out. 3 days saved her $7 maybe, but she decided that was the route she wanted to go. Pipe burst in the 3rd floor, and all of a sudden all the water just went from 3rd floor to 2nd floor to 1st floor. As it came down, it got progressively worse and worse and worse. It ended up being like 35 grand worth of damage. It was fully occupied, so everybody had to move out. That was the first time in my real estate journey that I went to that property and I was looking around. It looked like Jumanji, like just insulation was falling from the ceiling, just full on like waterfall, and 1st floor stuff was floating. And I was like, oh, this is how I lose everything. I don't know what to do here. This is how I lose everything. I'm going to lose the building. I don't even know where to begin here. And that was I walked outside and I was like, this is that point where I'm not going to be able to afford anything. And I was thankfully able to make an insurance claim, made a bunch of repairs to the building. And at that point, from that point on, I was like, that can't ever happen again, where I was trying to grow. So I didn't have money for that because I grew too fast. I was trying to buy other properties at the same time. So because I did that, and I was more important on the expansion of the portfolio to be that guy that's got properties and do all that stuff, I fucked myself because I didn't have money for the expenses that were taking place for the properties I had already. So that's the biggest thing, is like, don't be that guy. Have your proper savings and expenses. You should be able to cover 100% of anything that took place at that property at all times. You should have 6 months of reserves in your account at all times before you even attempt to do anything else.
I think 2 years of patience and discipline could get you 2 decades easy of just great growth, with very little that comes up that you can't maintenance and afford. So just staying very disciplined up front and retaining as much of the cash flow as you can to build up that safety net, to Matt's point, is I think just the key. You're going to get to the scale you want to get to, whether you try to force your way through it or not. So just play the more patient and disciplined route always, and the cash flows over time will take care of everything that you need to, but you got to stash as much away as possible.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, people being in the rental space is a long-term game, don't get me wrong, but like to Andrew's point, being patient in those first years will pay extreme dividends on the back end for the next 10 to 20, because you'll be able to grow and scale at such a faster pace if you just do it right and you pace yourself in those first 1 to 3 years or whatever that time frame is to set yourself up accordingly. So you don't have, I always say, like I always tell clients of mine when I was an agent, like that first property is your foundation. If you're building a house, you want to have a sound foundation so you can build the rest of the house. You don't want to buy that first property and either grow too fast or cut corners, so that way when you're buying those other properties, you can't even focus on continuing to grow or scale because you're worried about this first property because it's a piece of shit and it's giving you all these issues because you didn't do the repairs. You're not putting in, you're not putting money off to the side for expenses. You're not doing all of these things you're supposed to. So you're never going to be able to scale to your full ability because you're not doing it the right way. So patience is key. And I'm not talking 30 years of patience. Like Andrew said, if you give yourself that 1 to 3 years of patience in doing it correctly, you'll be able to do whatever you want after that point.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, like at this point, the way that we kind of set things up is we always just, for the first like 2 or 3 years, we tucked away all of our cash flow, net cash flow, and just kept it into like our own little separate account, like our little escrow. We're like, one day this will be great to have. And we tucked as much away as we could to make sure we took care of maintenance and repairs and all that stuff, and really took no profits ourselves from it for years. And now it's to the point where, our reserve is big enough that we could take care of whatever issues that could possibly come up within our current portfolio, but also that the net cash flows every month that it throws off easily covers the interest payments that we may have to, say, our private lenders, etc., that accrue on a monthly basis or a quarterly basis. Those cash flows cover all that interest, so it supports our future growth as well. So rentals are both just a great play independently. If that's your sole focus in a business, a rental portfolio is great. But if you're also a property flipper, rentals can be super beneficial to the business, especially when you're talking about carrying debt load that will, all that leverage that you have there, all that net cash flow that's coming in on a monthly basis carries my flip business, my construction business from an interest standpoint every month and some. So patience up front allowed us to say, hey, we have this big nest egg here where we don't have to worry about using that cash flow to take care of maintenance and repairs. Rather, we're going to take all this great cash flow and we're going to reinvest it back into covering our growth in a different sector.
Yeah, it's probably extremely complimentary to you as a flipper to have those long-term, to have that monthly support in those time periods, and to what you said too, to save up for that first year or however long, 2 years. My dad and my cousin just bought a 4-unit building probably 2 years ago now, 3 years ago, maybe somewhere around that point. And they put every dollar away that they were making. So they'd pay the mortgage payment and everything, and they had a separate bank account and they put everything away. And there's a 3-person partnership. It's my dad, my cousin, and a friend of ours that are in that building together. One of them was like, I don't want to put all this money away. Like, let's just put like 10% or so of it away, and then we take the rest, and we want the cash flow. And then the other 2 were like, no, let's put everything away, and at the end of the year, we can decide if we want to keep it in there or not, whatever. And there was a dispute in the beginning, but they decided to keep 100% of the proceeds in that account. Sure enough, just this only a few months ago, there was another pipe burst, a water pipe burst in the front yard. It's in like there's a bunch of buildings around them, and an underground pipe burst in front of the building, like in the front courtyard. That was the village pipe, and it so much water came out that it actually moved the building's foundation. It actually shifted the building. They had water in their basement that was over 6 feet high. They were showing me videos like washing machines just like floating in the basement. It was coming up the stairs. I mean, it was insane. It ended up being over $50,000 worth of damage and repairs and all that kind of stuff. And their insurance didn't cover it because it was this really fucking specific thing in like almost every insurance clause of I forget what it's called now, but something along the lines of like seepage from underground. It's bullshit, but insurance didn't cover it. And in the village, the city that it's in, they also claimed no responsibility as well. So they were stuck in limbo, and they had to go and they still not paid for. But thank God they never spent $1 of their profits, and they put it off to the side for that first year or year and a half, whatever it was, and they were able to exhaust their entire savings, the expenditures that they've been putting off to the side for all of those repairs, because it was fully rented. They had to move everybody out, and now you're sitting there. You got a mortgage note on this thing that they don't stop collecting your mortgage payment during those periods of time. Your insurance is going to continue to, all of these expenses are still there. So they had to put 40 to 50 grand back into the building just to get it re-rented and get themselves back on their feet. And thank God they did it smart and saved up all their money in that time period.
Yeah. Period.
Or they would have lost the building. They don't, again, we always touch on like learning as much as you can, having as much knowledge, know your shit. Like they're not real estate investors. This is their first property together. So if that wasn't the case and they didn't have $50,000 sitting there on the side, those three individuals do not have the wherewithal, the resources, the knowledge to navigate around that scenario. It was either make an insurance claim or we don't know what else to do. They don't know how to go raise money. They don't know how to do any of the things that you might need to do in order to, or go take out a separate. They don't know how to do any of those things. So thank God they did the very basic thing that every investor should do and put away your money in the beginning to give yourself a good cushion in that situation.
Absolutely. In the space of long-term rentals, if it can happen, it will happen. It's just a matter of when. So sometimes shit goes awry in your properties within the first year. Sometimes people get lucky and they have 10 years of no problems, right? And everything's just happy-go-lucky, and they've made a ton of money on cash flow, and it's been great. But bottom line is, when you get to a place of owning, I would say more than 5 properties, you're getting to a place of basically at any point in time, your phone could ring with an expense. Right? Yes, you're going to get your check every month, and yes, it looks great on the gram, and it sounds excellent to talk about. $3,000 to cash flow. Like, yeah, it's great. But I just put a HVAC system in a house, and it cost me 11 grand. So that $3 grand a month of cash flow, well, it goes pretty quick when one thing big pops up. So just being diligent and understanding that, like, man, if you can just buckle down that first 12 to 36 months and just save. You're going to thank yourself. Guaranteed.
Yeah, I just got an email. There's a $20K on a portion of my portfolio. There's a $20K net deposit coming from the management company for the rent for those properties for this month. And it looks great, right? You could be like, oh, 20 grand, that's fantastic for those properties. But I can also show you 6 other months where those same properties made $3,000. They were negative in balances. They were, so that 20 grand looks great for this month. And I could say that that's what I'm making every single month. But I can also show you 6 other times where I was either at 0, negative, or at very, very little cash flow because of large expenses that took place. And if I was basing my life off of 20K deposits for that portfolio every single month, and I was like, oh, I'm going to make $20,000 a month on these properties. So I'm going to go live a 20 grand a month life. And I'm going to I'm going to spend all these expenses, and I'm going to do. And when those 6 months that take place of 0 or negative dollars, and that 20 grand's coming out of my pocket, how long can I survive that? How long can I do that for if I don't have the proper expense accounts and system set up to handle that? Because I've had some large ones, and in the beginning, though, they would ruin me because I didn't know anything, and I didn't know how to manage that. And I was trying to grow too quick. I didn't have patience in the beginning. That's for damn sure.
Yep.
I'm actually thinking I'll set up a property manager. What's up, girl? Come here. John, I'm not doing another 6 hours, all right?
Did Matt just jump right up?
No, I was just I thought about it while I was refreshing. That it took me out of the room, and I was like, I should have just stayed out because it would have been way funnier for me to say that.
That would have been amazing.
I missed the comedic timing on that one, and I'm very upset with myself. No goodbye. That's the Irish goodbye. I don't even say anything.
You're just like, I'm not doing another 6 hours.
Yes.
Go on.
No goodbye, no peace sign. At what point do you say forget the repairs and invest your money elsewhere?
Oh man, my mic was muted there. But hey, ladies and gentlemen, we had a lot of gems dropped in today's call. I want to be mindful of everybody's time. Matt, I appreciate you. Andrew, Paul, you guys are amazing. Everybody in here is amazing. If you haven't already, please consider inviting somebody you think would benefit from being in proximity with us. Send them that link. discord.gg/REI Rev. What you gonna do, Matt? You gonna stay on here for another 6 hours, or you get out of here?
Probably, dude. As soon as you said that, I was like, the power of no, right? Like I'm reading text.
Hey, I'll tell you this, Matt. After that conversation that we had about the power of no, that gave me a lot of awareness. And I'll tell you, I have been exercising the power of no, and I'm very proud of myself for some of the decisions that I made over the last 48 hours, just saying no. So
yeah. And then audit the past too, or the past however many months of times where you should have expressed the power of no and you didn't. And and usually look at that too, and look at the outcome of those situations where you didn't exercise your power of no. And what was the outcome? Usually probably nothing, but it was probably bullshit, or it was so you're most likely, if your body's telling you no, you're best just to trust and be like, no, man, I no, power of no is extreme, and I need to practice it so much more. But you're taking your own time back, and again, not pleasing, not serving things that don't serve you.
Absolutely. All right, everybody. Much appreciation and love. I hope that y'all have an amazing, fantastic day. Let's get to this money.
Peace.
Hey, guys.
Take care, brothers.